something that happened today. I was told about 4 o'clock that somebody was murdered in Kilburn, yeah? And then a friend of mine rang me up and, and then I said, and then apparently it was a man I used to go there for 20 years to have my beefs, and he was murdered by his son. Today it happened. So I'm wearing black, but I'm also wearing silver shoes. Just to, because, you know, life has to carry on, you know, that's it, you know. And the second thing I want to say, I want to thank particularly to Sylvie, because without her and Dick, it would never happen. Because, you know, I did a lot of drawings in the bookies. And then they knew me, I used to gamble and this and that, so they knew me as a gambler. Suddenly, thanks to Sylvie and Dick, I'm sure, and suddenly they're all shocked. They don't believe what they see, you know, so. And a third thing I want to say is that I'm looking forward to see the next one, because the next one is the one that is the climax of everything. Anybody want to ask? I don't know what can I ask myself.
I don't know what.
No, but I want. I mean, really. I mean, I'm looking at them now, and it was all done in the 70s, and I'm thinking to myself, how strange, because they all became real. I had to leave all these things. So be very careful what you draw, everybody. Very careful. No, it's true. It has power. And I tell you, everything materialized there. Everything.
SCX?
Everything came alive. I mean, it's very, very dangerous media animation. So when if you want to do animation, do only happy stuff. If I had this knowledge that time, when I was doing them, I will have every film finished up with a happy ending. Everyone. So if I can go and we can do it again and change them and make them happy, because I know the power of them. So I'm warning everybody, if you want to do animation, have happy ending. Simple. Very, very simple. Like silver shoes. Death and silver shoes.
Are you still making animations?
No, I've been drawing in the bookies, in the William Hill, and as I said, I was thanks to Sylvie, and Sylvie she was very humble about it, about doing it, but she did such a great work, and without Sylvie and Dick, I won't be able to go to the book and said, I wasn't just a gambler, but look what I did, and they all went like that.
The images are in the book. I don't know if you've been passing around, you know.
Also, everything
they were done
else,
on betting slips.
Yeah, I made a lot of drawings on betting slips. Yeah. It's what I learned through life and everything, that you can turn everything negative into something positive. You know, so I turned that addiction I had into something positive by drawing on those slips. So I turned those slips into art. They're used for gambling, for horses and things like that. So I turned them into light. So, and I have about 400 of them. I love to go back to animation, because the animation is because I used to draw in the simple way with paper and cells, and so each drawing you do, and then they get better and better and better, and then they get into perfection, absolute perfection. You can't get this perfection when you just draw. Only when you do this again and again and again. Anybody does animation, or yeah, computer. I don't know nothing about computer. So
can I see a show of hands? Who does hand-drawn animation?
Ah, you do. Yeah. I was going to make a big speech, but then a voice whispered to me, "Be simple." So I want particularly, because I made mistakes here and there, and I want to correct them today. And I was writing here because last time I didn't mention, so I wrote about every page. I wrote Sylvie and Peter, Sylvie and Peter.
Dick,
Sylvie and Dick. But what I want to say, also very important thing, Dick was, when I met Dick in the 70s, he was a huge influence on me, really. Dick, because it was that time actually we were dating. Then we became friends, So that time we haven't been friends, but now we are. And then, he was a huge influence on me. And recently, for the last 10 years, Sylvie and Dick and Peter, they all were a huge influence on my recent work. They were huge because many times I used to go to them and say, Sylvie, can I borrow from you 40 quid? I'll give you back on Monday.
Peter is Peter Lewis, who was Thalma's teacher at St. Martin's School of Art, who's still painting, still around.
Yeah. So, anyhow, the one you're going to see now is a very, very complex film about a magician who goes through a huge journey in order to be able to do something incredible, powerful. Eventually, through this story, through learning and growing, he is managing somehow, with the help of the rabbit and stripping down, he managed to create with the woman, but through a huge process of rubbish become light, he managed to create this incredible power that makes the people, that animals get out of cages and stuff like that. So you're going to see it, but in a very rough condition, because when I did the editing at the time, I could not really manage to do it at the time. So you're going to see only some of this journey of that magician. Because what happened, he was created by a rabbit, and then he was looking for his magic wand, he couldn't find it, and then through this process of finding his magic wand, through emotions, and through learning, and through realizing that that rabbit who created him is a friend, only by offering and not bashing people on the head, he managed to get all the rubbish from the theater that was thrown to him from the audience, and for the whole world in a way, and managed to go through a process of transformation into light, into balls, and then eventually him and the rabbit creating this huge light. The woman arrived, and then huge energy comes. Anyhow, that's about, and great happiness.
I mean, do you want a little break now, or do you want to ask?
I think we should.
What do you think of?
I think we should show it.
Sorry?
I think we should show it right now. Yeah.
It's on a memory stick, so I just need to put the memory stick in.
Oh, okay. Would you want to answer some questions while in the handover, or is it not going to take very long?
Sorry?
How long will it take? We could have some more questions if you want.
You have some questions, yeah. So why don't we have some questions to Thalma?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, I just was. I really enjoyed your soundtracks. You know, your voice actors and so on. I was just wondering. I noticed that it was sort of like. It was Captain something or other. I mean, that was credited.
Captain Fountain?
Captain Fountain, yeah.
Yeah, it was a theater group.
Oh, I see.
And they were my friends. That time in the 70s, there were a lot of fringe theaters. Fringe, a lot of groups were created, supported by the council, and they were giving shows. And that particular group were friends of mine, and they were doing shows, and yeah. And it was fringe kind of. A lot of, in the 70s, a lot of fringe.
Yeah, they were great. I mean, were they doing scripted dialogue, or they were
improvisation?
Improvising.
I used to show them the movie and record them. As simple as that. And it's the cheapest too. More?
Yeah, well, just in terms of they're so beautiful and amazing, really lovely.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, love.
Which one do you like the best?
Actually, really early ones, I think.
Yeah?
like amazing. People are trying to. Is it the second one you showed with the yellow woman becoming a someone? And that was that flat. I mean, this is a question that applies to all of them, but that one in particular. Do you storyboard or do you just make and then go back and get
No,
the
not
structure
storyboard
through?
there.
So you're just drawing forwards and then bring it together and editing.
Yeah.
And that for all of them.
All of them, yeah.
Well, you
Nightcall, I had
had storyboards and sound, didn't you?
Yeah, Nightcall, I think, and but Nightcall started simple and then became very complex with all these characters in the middle. Amateur Night, no, I just Amateur Night was I was sitting in the garden and drawing them on my lap, one by one. It was in the Arbegod. I was sitting in Arbegod and drawing them, you know, one by one, you know, Amateur Night, you know, on paper. One another one, and in Israel, I was doing it. My father made me a table. I had a table, a very low table with a glass, and then very old, you know, one of those very old tables, you know, from the 30s.
The light books.
No, it wasn't a light box. No. What I did was, it was a low table. It was a coffee table, so it had a very heavy glass on it. So I took the glass like that, moved it a little bit, put a light under. And worked on it, that's it. Very simple. You only need a glass and a lamp. What more? Yeah, I think Amateur Night was done everywhere. Israel, Arbegod. Everywhere. Arbegod was not, you know. Anymore?
I just wanted to ask, I find that your films have, so almost, for some of them, I find it hard to say why they are the way they are. There's something almost moving in the unconscious in watching the film. Something very, very deeply uncanny that I can't quite put my finger on, over and above the narrative, the script. There's something in the sensibility that I find it hard to put my finger on. Can you say something about that? Was it all unconscious that you were driven by, or how did the films come about?
I was working completely free. I mean, now I have something like called the light, it conduct me, but that time I was free of everything, so I did whatever I felt at the time. But if I was turning the clock back, I would never make moves like that. Or I will have happy ending, like I said before. But that time I didn't have that kind of sort of inner light, whatever, what you call it, and so I was doing them. I mean, I think it was fashionable at that time to have a bad ending, I think, at the time in the 70s. A little bit. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Well, not quite. I'm kind of looking for some sort of.
Question exactly.
It was where there's a sense of uncanny.
Martin.
There's a sense of uncanny about some of your films, and I find deeply
Uncanny.
Quite dreamlike.
dreamlike.
I'm sorry, dreamlike.
Over and above.
Well, I was smoking a lot of dope then.
But
And a lot of sex.
I think it's the timing that was all in your head completely.
Yeah. No, I always got advice from everybody. I mean, you remember that every movie I used to make, I used to bring him to the editing room, ask his advice. Everything I used to get people to help me to.
So you did listen?
Every movie, didn't I? Every movie you came to the studio, you used to come, and you too, yeah, remember? Every movie you used to come and help me.
What I found remarkable was that you could actually imagine the sequences in the movie and actually time them. You know, you just kind of had a stopwatch and then you imagined it, and then you timed how long it took, you know, in your imagination, and that was the time, you know. I mean, it was like you were playing them in your head, wasn't that right?
I was playing them in my head, yeah. But I had to remember Valerie and you and Valerie particularly were very much around the time, you know. Every advice, you used to give me advice, and you remember the process of that.
I don't
used to go to
remember.
you came to the editing room, you know, that huge editing room in Soho with 35 mil steam bag machine, and you remember? Huh? A lot of people used to get, everybody used to get there. I did the editing, but with amateur night, with a night call, I had Terry Brown who did the editing.
Yeah, you had editing.
He was very good,
help, didn't you? Yeah.
He was excellent. Yeah.
The cat. Why was there a cat?
Why the cat? It started off in Israel when I was staying in a place where all these cats were walking over me, and I hated them.
There's a lot of stray cats.
And then, I don't know, and then I came back to London and I had this idea about a cat, and then I developed it with a friend of mine called Valerie. We developed it together, yeah. She was definitely a very big part of the, not of the drawings, but of creating the idea.
So, because in Israel there's a lot of stray cats, or is that kind of cat
millions of them, yeah. No, these particular cats were in somebody's house.
Like a domestic.
Yeah. I'm going to have a cigarette. Just for 5 minutes.
Okay, well I think
I was going to make a big speech here, but then...
Well, let's have a 5 minutes break. You'll have your cigarette.
No, I'm not having a big speech. I think it's enough. I think that I had to say some appreciation to my best friends for really helping me. Without them, it would never happen.
So
they gave me, they made a wonderful book, and they... Without them, you know, I mean, I have something, you know, at least my daughter can say, oh, my mom did this, there's a book. So when I go to the other side, there's a book. I'm very happy about it.
So the book,
You still have time.
the book retails at £35 and we're selling it at 15. Is that why you wrote it?
But you don't have to buy it if you don't want to.
Yeah, there are some books if you want to buy
nice.
it. And also we have DVDs of what you've just seen.
Yeah, I was going to ask, that was the question, how they... That's the answer.
Yeah, so we have DVDs at £5 a piece. If anybody wants a DVD of the films, they're all there on DVD.
So there's nothing online?
There is a bit online, isn't there, Sylvie?
Stanley is on YouTube.
There's an opportunity to put Green Man, Yellow Woman and Stanley online through an Unlocking Film Heritage lottery funded project to be a BFI player. It just depends whether Thalma wants to do it, because they would have to qualify for the money, they'd have to be available for free, but it would mean that we could rescan from the negatives and they could get out there, and that would mean that there would be HT masters, which would hopefully get some more interest in looking at the other things. So that just depends whether...
Do you know when that might happen?
I think we sent to you. It depends whether the contract is signed. If you sign the contract, then it'll go. So it will go. Maybe if it's done, then that's fine. Then it will go up next April.
Oh, right.
So Stanley would go up, because amongst the material that came was the negatives for things like Stanley and Amateur Night. We already had the negatives for Green Man, Yellow Woman, because I think that was finished off with BFI funds to help finish that off. We didn't have any film elements on Night Call until the print that's been handed to me this evening, so that's great. All that survived was a U-matic copy, which is kind of what you've been watching most of this evening. So better elements are there for most films. It'd be great to find the negatives for that as well, and we'll keep on the track. But we have good materials for most of them, so they're preserved, and it's finding the money to digitise them in better quality. The stuff that you're going to see from Great Colzini is not... They're HD scans, but they're not fully graded or anything like that. But they show you what's the potential of what's there.
Great.
Okay, well, with our principal star now out in the room having a cigarette downstairs, I think now is probably time to call an interval. Perhaps those fellow smokers around you might want to go and talk to her on the steps. So can I have a big hand for Richard and for Thalma, who's outside?